Roundhouse Roundup Episode 11, coming at you hard and fast. Let's get started. You know what that is, kids? If you're in Europe, you might not, because that's BlazBlue, and it's not out yet in your region. But some news came out that BlazBlue's coming out in the PAL regions with new characters and moves. That's all they've said, so this could mean a number of things. One, new characters coming out in Europe, and North America doesn't get them as DLC. Or, we do get them as DLC, or the very scary, we haven't thought of third choice, it's just the boss characters unlocked from the very beginning, which I wouldn't put it past them. But, in other words, Europe, thanks for waiting. You may or may not get screwed. In other news, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom's American release is going to have some bonus characters. We don't know who they will be, but we now know who they won't be. Phoenix Wright has been ruled out of the game in a recent interview. The director said there would be a problem with balancing him for the game because in Japan, when he says his objection, he actually says igiari. It's basically 2 or 3 characters long. But objection is 9 characters long, and if you count the apostrophe, I mean, it's just a mess. So obviously he's going to be better in the American version than in the Japanese version. Honestly, they could have put a little more thought into this, although if you play as Phoenix Wright, he has to say objection as his special attack, and it hits them. Just like that one game for the Neo Geo Pocket Color, Gals Fighters, where you can play as Kyo's girlfriend Yuki, and one of her attacks is that she shouts the word rape, and it can hit you. Let's shed a tear for the exclusion of Phoenix Wright. Time for this episode's KOF Watch. News came out that the online patch to fix the game's horrible online play will be released at the end of August. Rest assured, once this patch comes out, if the game's playable, I will do a re-review. Whether or not, now that it's fixed, is it worth your money? Interesting news coming out the wire here. Stride Gum, makers of those really somewhat annoying yet also somewhat intriguing commercials, are doing a little contest called Save the Arcades. You can go to Save the Arcades, one word, S-A-V-E-T-H-E. You know what, if you can't spell it, you're probably not good enough to even try. SaveTheArcades.stridegum.com and play their little game Zapator, and you can credit your points towards one of 4 arcades. Arcade UFO in Austin, Texas, Game Galaxy in Nashville, Tennessee, Starbase Arcade in San Rafael, California, or Star Worlds Arcade in DeKalb, Illinois. And the winning arcade gets $25,000. Now, we here at Roundhouse Roundup, well, just me, because it's my show, we love arcades. And we want everyone to patronize them and keep them alive because it's still the best place to get competition, online gaming be damned. So give this a shot. We're getting down to the last quarter of the year, and we've still got plenty of fighting games coming out. Next month, Fate Unlimited codes for PSP. You can go to capcom-unity.com to get some combo videos and lore information about the game. It's looking really good, looking like a top-shelf PSP fighter, probably the must-have game on the system. Unlike, of course, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny coming out for PSP later on this year. Just a port of Soul Calibur 4 with 2 characters to replace Darth Vader and Yoda, and the Apprentice. You've got Dampierre, who's got some sweet mustache action going on, and Kratos, who will ostensibly not be getting it on with Ivy and Sophie Tia in this game in some sweet 3-way action. I mean, that's the only way I would buy this game. Speaking of fighters on PSP, don't forget Tekken 6 is coming out on PSP in addition to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 with all the same modes that its bigger console brothers are going to have. Looking pretty good. Still on the fence on this one just because Tekken is something I'm on the fence about lately, especially since this particular installment of the game is getting very far into the fantastic. And finally, as I mentioned earlier, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom for the Wii. If you have a Wii, you're going to buy this game because you want an excuse to play the goddamn thing. And I don't blame you, but the game looks really sweet. What remains to be seen is whether Mad Catz will release some sticks for the Wii just like they did for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Finally, some tournament news. You know I'm all about the tournaments. Labor Day weekend, September 4th through the 6th, at the Irvine Hilton. It's the West Coast Warzone. Games being played there include, but not limited to, Street Fighter 4, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Blaze Blue, King of Fighters 12. I can't even remember them all. Go to warzonetournament.com to register for this big event that looks like it's going to be the biggest tournament on the West Coast in the next 4 or 5 months. I'm going to be there. Gutex is going to be there. Show up. Just show up. If you've never been to a tournament, this is going to be a good one. Hopefully it's local in your area. If not, it's right in the hotel, and apparently rooms are $85 a night with a special rate that you get for registering for the tournament. With all that out of the way, I feel energized, I feel happy. I'm going to do the line again. Stay tuned for the Roundhouse Roundup for all the news, reviews, previews, views, and the ews. I'm Arakune, and I want you to like the ews just as much as I do. I look like the guy from Spirited Away, but I'm not. See you next week.